Okay, in this video I'm going to create a topo surface, which is the ground, effectively, that our building will go on. Now, the topo surface goes onto what is called your site plan. So click on site here, and it looks identical to your floor plan, pretty much. You won't see doors and windows and that sort of stuff, and you'll see this little icon in the middle here. Apart from that, it looks pretty similar to what you've already got in your other plan views. But this is the layer where you can see and create your topo surface. Now, what I recommend that you do is place down some model lines to start with, just for where the boundaries of your property are. So I'm just going to randomly drop some in, but ideally what you should do is that you would have a block of land you're designing for, so you should be able to create just some model lines of where your block is, what size your block is. And the reason why I put this down is because the topo surface tool, you sort of need, if you've got existing lines there, you can just click on these points to create your topo surface. So your topo tools are up along in massing and site up the top. And we're going to create a topo surface. And this is just placing a series of points at particular elevation levels. Now, talk a little bit about this. I'm going to just do this first one at 0, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to place a point for each of my topo points in. When I hit this one, I've got 3 in, and it'll be able to create a surface. Put in the last one. So all of these points are at 0. If I wanted to create blocks of land on slopes, or I have some rise or fall to them, then I'd be mucking around with elevations. But for the most basic stuff, that's how I'm going to create it. And hit the green one to create the topo surface. So when I go to my 3D view and look at this, I can see my topo surface, and I'll probably want to paint that up a different color rather than just default gray. And I'll just delete out one of those model lines, so I can click on the topo surface. The way you paint up the topo is this one over here, material by category. I don't think I've got a nice grass loaded, but I can drop in something a bit different. Might put in sand. Oh. So what happens is where my floor is and where my ground is exactly the same height. So you get this bit of a conflict here. So every time you move around, you get that really glitchy sort of look to it. So the best thing to do is to either make your slab slightly higher or make your topo slightly lower. So I usually go with about 15, just as a rule of thumb, 15 mil up. You can make it significantly more or less, but that's just a number I work with now. So one way you could fix it is by clicking on your floor, changing your height offset from level, and we'll make it 15 mil above. So now the floor is 15 millimeters above the ground. So if I zoom right in, you'll be able to see that little gap there. So that number can be anything, but that's usually what I go with. So that's one way you could fix it. I'll just undo that. Let's go undo a few times. Two, 4. All right, so I'm back to placing my topo surface. When I go to place my points, I'm just going to put the elevations in. So this is another way you could do it. I'm going to create the topo 15 mil below the level, so everything can be on that level. Now, I find this is a better practice to make your topo surface slightly lower than your floor, just because all the objects that you're going to be placing in and that sort of stuff, they'll be referenced off of the level, and it's just better if your floor isn't 15 mils above that level. So best practice, I would say, is creating your topo surface just slightly lower.